And welcome to this edition of the Native News Update on this Wednesday, March 2nd. I'm your host for today's program, Paul DeMain. Many of the stories read here can also be found at our website at IndianCountryNews.com, and here are some of the news stories from the day from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. Thanks to the Cherokee Nation's metalsmithing class, a nearly lost ancient art form is making a comeback. Southeastern Native jewelry has a look that is largely unfamiliar to most people due to the overwhelming popularity of the Southwestern style of Native American jewelry with its familiar turquoise and silver look. The Cherokee Nation's metalsmithing program aims to acquaint the public with the Southeastern jewelry while helping its citizens become more economically self-sufficient. The inaugural Cherokee Nation metalsmithing class is in session and started this winter. Each student is required to create 3 pieces of jewelry by the end of a 6-week term, and those pieces are to be sold at Cherokee Nation retail outlets. Students are expected to carry on with their newly learned trade and keep the Cherokee metalsmithing tradition alive by perfecting their craft and mentoring less experienced students. The Cherokee Nation's Artist Loan Fund program is available to assist class participants with business planning and financing so they may purchase the materials and equipment they need to become successful entrepreneurs. Improving public safety in Indian country and promoting tribal sovereignty and government relations is a top priority for the Department of Justice. On Monday, February 28th, the National Congress of American Indians, the nation's oldest, largest, and most representative American Indian and Alaska Native organization, recognized Associate Attorney General Tom Perrelli for his unwavering commitment to tribal justice and safety and awarded him the Governmental Leadership Award at the 13th Annual NCAI Leadership Awards Ceremony. Governor Gary Herbert has fired Forrest Cuch as director of the Utah Division of Indian Affairs, but declined to say why he took the action. Herbert spokesman Ali Isom told the Desert News that the governor has decided to take the division in a different direction and won't comment on the reason for the firing because it was a personnel matter. Cuch, who had held the position since 1997, said no reason was given when he was dismissed last Thursday. Both U.S. senators from Oklahoma say they're opposed to President Barack Obama's nomination to the federal bench of a former federal prosecutor from Norman, Oklahoma. Arvo McKinnon, a member of the Kiowa tribe, was nominated by the Democratic president February 2nd to become a U.S. district judge in Oklahoma. But the Oklahoman newspaper reported Sunday that Senators Tom Coburn and Jim Inhofe, both of Republicans from Oklahoma, say they were not consulted about the nomination of the 49-year-old McKinnon, and he says that is unacceptable. Coburn and Inhofe says the nomination should be withdrawn. The proposed budget released by Governor Scott Walker February 1st threatens Wisconsin, it was released by Governor Scott Walker on March 1st, and it allegedly threatens Wisconsin residents' use of local recycling programs under the Wisconsin Recycling Law, a successful provision that has helped keep almost 2 million tons of solid waste out of our landfills each year in Wisconsin. Passed in 1990, the Wisconsin Recycling Law requires residents and businesses to recycle certain banned materials and ensure that they have access to locally run recycling programs. The budget proposed by Governor Walker, along with many other budget cuts and changes for this year, would eliminate requirements for municipalities and counties to operate recycling programs. It also eliminates financial assistance for local governments for recycling programs. Repealing the Wisconsin Recycling Law would allow dangerous waste such as lead-acid batteries, tires, and waste oil to be placed in landfills once again, and that provision is only one out of several hundred pages of budget changes that were proposed on March 1st. Anglers, commercial, fishermen, and others are getting a preview of this year's salmon returns in Olympia, Washington today. The meeting kicks off an annual process that establishes commercial and recreational salmon seasons for Puget Sound, the Columbia River, and the Washington coast. The process involves federal, state, and tribal fisheries managers. The Washington State Department of Fish and Wildlife has scheduled several public meetings in regional salmon issues throughout April. The Hualapai tribe now has a tourism center in Kingman, Arizona. Tribal officials hosted other officials from Kingman and Mojave County at the opening of the center last week. The tribe created the center to sell tickets for its tourism ventures that include the Grand Canyon Skywalk and to promote American Indian arts, crafts, and jewelry. The Skywalk is a glass-bottom structure that suspends visitors more than 4,000 feet above the floor of the Grand Canyon. Kingman is the closest major city to the tribe's reservation, which lies west of the Grand Canyon outside of the national park's boundaries. And that is going to be the latest roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. We want to thank you for joining us and come back tomorrow again for some more Native news. Miigwech.